He would think of things in his dream that we would never see in real life, and he would paint those things. So we're going to do that right now. So I want you guys right now to put a dot in the middle of your paper right there. Okay, and we're going to break this in to 4 different sections. And the first section is going to be in the bottom left-hand corner. And what I want you to do, now watch how I do this. I'm going to take my eraser right there, put it on the paper, and I'm going to draw a line right there.
Mr. E, sorry. Can you go back? We see you speaking, I think.
Maybe you're so lucky.
Can you go back to the picture? It's just me, but.
No, it's possible. I think Reagan's got this whole thing messed up for all of us.
There we go. Thank you.
So look, I put the eraser right here, and I'm just going to draw a really thin line, and we're using an artist's touch with that line. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm giving myself space, but I'm going to turn this first one into a square, and I'm not going to go past the middle. And look how rough and loose my square is, okay? Don't even worry about it. So we got a nice little square there. I'm going to get my eraser again, and I'm going to put it right next to that square and draw another line. Now what I'm going to try to do is make these 2 squares the exact same. I'm not going to, because I'm not that good of an artist. I'm going to try to keep it off the paper.
You're just fine.
Thank you very much, honey. Sometimes I just need that little confidence boost. So we have our 2 squares right here. And we're going to turn these into easels so we can actually draw on our painting. Okay, now surrealism is dreamlike, so let's go right here and do a small little rectangle there. And on this one, small one, we're going to try to make it the exact same. And then above it, we're going to do even a medium-sized one, a smaller one, and one up like that. Okay, so do that on both sides. And try to, guys, they're not going to look identical, but that's okay. We just want them close enough so if someone sees it, they're like, wow, that's pretty cool. He drew an easel. All right. Let's get our Sharpie on now. And let's trace the lines we just drew. And do your best, guys, to cover up the pencil. We're going to erase some stuff in a second. But what I love about erasers, and if you're in my class at school, you know that I don't like erasers to correct mistakes because I don't think
I am,
mistakes.
and I know that.
I know you do.
He does not like erasers.
But I do like erasers if we use them as tools for art.
Yeah.
Which means we can measure,
That's like the only time you like
at them. We can do all kinds of fun stuff. So let's do these right here. And now I'm going to show you guys some fun little details we're going to add just to make it look like a better easel. And watch how easy this is. We're going to put a nail there, a nail there, a nail there, a nail there. And we got to make it look like they're not floating. Emily, I haven't heard Matthew tell me to drink coffee yet, so I'm just going to do it on my own.
That's what I was going to say. It's time to drink coffee, Mr. E.
It's so good, too.
He's busy with the truck you gave him.
All right. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a nail here, here, and here. And, of course, here, here, and here, because we don't want our easels floating. So we got to put the legs on the easels, and we're going to go straight line down. I'm not even using the pencil right now because I know how to make diagonal and straight lines. And now it looks like an actual easel is set up at the bottom of our paper. And what I want you guys to see on this, like if someone looked at our artwork right now, they'd be like, wow, that'd be really hard to draw, but it's not. Because all we did was use straight lines and shapes. And that's all art is when you break things down to the smallest little part, it's just shapes and lines. Now I'm going to clean it up a little bit with my eraser. And I'm going to wipe it off. Keep it clean.
Nice and shiny for the red carpet.
That's right. Now we've got our blue pencil. Now, if I was doing a math question, I would hold my pencil like this because I want to use the tip of it. But since we're going to make a sky real quickly, I'm going to hold my pencil like this. And I'm going to tilt my paper and watch what I do. I'm going to scribble inside this one, and I'm going to try to stay in the lines. If I don't, I don't. So what? And I'm going to scribble inside this one. Now, let's go back. I'm going to share. I got to share the screen right quick. Hold on. We're going to go over here. And Rene Magritte made the greatest skies ever. Like, look at this sky right here. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, there it is. It's just beautiful. So we've got our Rene Magritte skies, and we're doing those in both of those. Uh-oh, okay, stop sharing. Okay, and now we're going to get our dark blue pencil. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit.
Mr.
Yeah, honey.
Sorry, my voice. So yesterday me and my brother were making.
Sweetie, let you and I talk when we're doing the postcards, and you can tell me all that fun stuff. Well, I'm going to go on this one because I got to add a little bit of contrast, and just with my light blue, I'm holding my pencil the same way. And I'm not going to go do as much as I did with the light blue. I'm just going to add a little bit of detail in here. Okay. Super duper. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move to the top of our page. Okay, now here's the middle. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my eraser, and this is about 3/4 of the way up. And the way you can tell, pretend like you're taking an elevator. And you go to the first floor, which is about 1/4 of the way up. You go to the second floor, which is the middle. That's where our dot is. Go to the third floor. I'm going to put my eraser right there. And I'm going to get my pencil again. And I'm going to do a straight line that's about the width of my eraser. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. The reason I use that eraser is just so I get an idea of what I'm doing. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the exact same thing. And then I'm going to connect these two lines, not with a straight line, but with a really small curved line. And that gives us the idea that it's going to be 3-dimensional, like that. And again, I'm using an artist touch because I don't want it to be too thick that I can't go over it. All right, now, bring a rainbow over the top.
Mr. E, after this, can you please slow down?
I'm going to slow down right now.
Okay.
And thank you for your wonderful manners. Sometimes, you guys, I get so excited when I start drawing something because I want to see what it turns out like that I just start going nuts.
You can always tell him to drink coffee too. See.
You guys, I think it's bad that you guys are getting mad at me for that. That's like Matthew's only job. He's been doing that since he was 1 year old, and he's not doing his job. So everybody, please stop yelling at me. Don't yell at Matthew either because it's his birthday tomorrow. But just know that that's actually
Guess
good, not mine. All right.
My brother's birthday is in 2 weeks.
Oh, you got to remind me. That'll be right around the mystery class. Okay, so now we've got this little half circle, but it's actually going to be a bowler hat or a derby hat. And I'm going to draw 2 lines diagonally out of the side, but I'm not going to go from the corners. See these corners right here? I'm going to go a little bit above them, and I'm not going to do it too long. They're just going to be about that long right there. And on this side, we're going to do the letter C. And on this side, we're going to do a backward C.
I can tell.
Okay, now remember this line right here. This is very important because we're going to connect these 2 lines with this exact same line like this. And we made Magritte's bowler hat. Now, he was very dapper. So he would wear this hat everywhere, and it was in a lot of his artwork. It's very fancy. I might wear one next year for school all the time. All right. Get your big black crayon out. Crayon. I remember when I was little, you guys, I called it a crown. And my teacher was like, nope, it's a crayon. And I was like, that thing doesn't even make sense. I always thought they were called crowns, but they're not. Crayon. It's very hard to say. All right, gently trace over this with your crayon. Trace over the lines like this. Trace over this one. Okay, now, when Magritte first started painting, he loved to play tricks on the people that critiqued his paintings. So he'd always put really weird, strange things in. But at his first show, they didn't love him a whole lot. So his first show, they said this: oh, his artwork's terrible. He's never going to be famous. They said that, and that's rude. Okay, now watch what I do here.
He proved them
Oh
wrong.
man, he did. But he did some naughty things. I'm gonna tell you guys that in a second. So watch this. Instead of doing straight lines here, I'm gonna lightly color this in. And the reason I'm using a crayon right now instead of a Sharpie is because I need texture on this. And this texture makes it look kind of like it's felt or it's a soft thing to touch. And that's kind of what the bowler hats were like. Okay, so Magritte failed miserably at his first art show, not because of him, but because people didn't like his artwork. And so he needed a way to survive because he was just married and he needed money. And it was after World War II. And there was something called banknotes. I don't really know what they are, but I think you could borrow money from a bank or you would lend banks money. I don't know. And they would pay you back. Well, he was such a good artist that what he did is he forged, which means he copied, banknotes and sold them back to the bank. Not a very good choice because you could get in so much trouble for that, but that's what a great artist he was. And then he figured out he was such a good artist that he started copying some of Picasso's work and Van Gogh's work, and he would sell pictures that he didn't even draw and pretend that he was Picasso. They were drawn by Picasso, and he would sell them.
Like Michael Jackson, although not with music, with paintings.
Yes.
Michael Jackson is so bad.
Okay, look what I did here, guys. I colored in this side like 3 layers deep, and I colored this side like 3 layers, and that gave me a really nice little contrast on here, so it looks like we have a great light source coming in this way. Okay, so just do that, and then we're going to move on to the next step, which is going to require our pencil again. That might be the best bowler hat I've ever done ever. Pretty happy about that.
Reminds me of a derby.
A derby, that's what's supposed to be called. Okay, everybody look right here. I've got the top of my easel right there. I've got the other side of my easel right there. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to draw a half circle. And look how I just kind of sketched this out. I'm going to try to draw a half circle just like this between the two of them. And then I'm going to go through my paintings and connect it so I got a full circle. And it looks totally scribbled, but that doesn't matter to me because I'm going to erase it if I need to. All right. So now let's go back to our Sharpie. If you have your circle. And guys, don't worry if it's a perfect circle or not, because what we're doing right now is we're drawing an apple. And if you go to the grocery store, you'll notice that apples are all kind of different. So
There's like yellow, green, and red.
I was thinking more like shape, but you're right. Colors are different too. All right, now I'm going to trace over this with my black Sharpie, and I'm going to go really slow so I can hit these lines. I'm going to go over my paintings right here. And I connected it pretty good. Now I'm going to use my eraser to fix things and not use it as art. And I'm just going to erase any lines that I had extra. All right, so Rene Magritte realized he was going to get in a little trouble for copying the banknotes, so he had to find another job. Now this is amazing to me. So what he did is he got a job creating wallpaper, not putting wallpaper up, but actually drawing pictures on wallpaper. Get your green marker out. Let's do it. And so he would go into people's houses and he would paint pictures on their walls. Which is kind
Mr. E,
of, yes,
did you use crayon or Sharpie for the circle?
I used the Sharpie.
Okay, thank you.
But if you use crayon, you
And a
guys can do it.
pencil.
Okay, here's what I want everyone to do. We're going to take a little 2-second break. I want everyone to get up from their seat, and I want you to go to a wall and stand in front of the wall. And I want you to lift your hand up as high as you can. Rene Magritte would take paintings about this big and draw them all over the wall, and that was his job. And it would take so long. But if you had a house that had wallpaper painted by Rene Magritte, the wall alone would be worth more than the actual house, and that's kind of amazing. All right, so I colored this green. I'm going to totally cheat right now. I'm not even going to use a pencil. I'm going to put a stem in my artwork. And if I was just a very average artist, I would keep it just like this. But since you guys are all such great artists, we're going to make it 3-dimensional. We're going to put a little oval there and bring it down there. Now we have a stem on our apple. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat again. I'm just going to put a leaf on there. And look what I did. I drew a pointy line there, and then the exact opposite right there. And then I'm going to color that in green as well. Nice straight lines. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to teach you guys a trick with markers here in a second. So I'm going to take this marker and I'm going to do another line right here. And look how it starts getting deeper, which creates more shadows. So we have our shadow right here. And now we have a shadow right here. And that's just emphasis. And it makes the viewer want to look at more because there's more interesting things to look at. So that is fun to do. All right, now I'm going to show you guys something that's going to freak you out. So some of you guys, if you get really scared about stuff, I want you to close your eyes, please, because this is really scary. I got to find it. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to type Rene Magritte artwork I. That's all you have to type sometimes with this one. And I'm going to show you this right here. That is called The False Mirror by Rene Magritte. And it's an eyeball with clouds behind it. That's kind of scary.
He stole Starry Night?
No, 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 no. Hey, don't spread rumors about Rene Magritte. Come on. All right, now, next thing we're going to do, we're going to go right back to our first work of art. And we are going to draw a circle inside this work of art. I'm going to try my hardest to keep it outside of the apple. And then inside of that, I'm going to draw a smaller circle. No, he did not steal Starry Night. But thinking about stealing, so a few years ago, maybe like 30, 20 years ago, somebody stole one of his artworks from a museum. And there's this thing called the black market where if you steal something really big like that, people try to sell stuff there. It's a very dangerous, naughty place where bad people sell stuff. So they tried to sell his artwork there, but everyone was like this, wait a sec. That is Rene Magritte, and it's so famous you can't sell it. So his artwork, he became so famous that they couldn't sell it. Well, the thieves felt so badly about it that they returned the artwork 3 years later without a scratch on it. So that was good. That's how famous he became. All right. Now here's a story that I want to tell you guys. Make sure you're coloring this around. Everybody look at this. So we're turning this into an eyeball. And we're going to have to get our black marker again in a second. And Emily's mom always calls me out on stuff like when I try to make stories up, so we'll see what she does on this one. When he was a little boy, and I promise you, I learned this in art class when I was taking my art class in college. When he was a little boy, and I'm going to color while I tell you the story, there's a lot of artwork of his that has hot air balloons in it, okay? And my art teacher told me it's because when he was little, a hot air balloon fell on his house. So I think that would be kind of terrifying anyway. But if you ever look at his artwork, there's some with hot air balloons in it. But imagine that you're just sitting at home one day, maybe having lunch, maybe watching a television program, maybe reading a book, maybe playing the guitar, and all of a sudden you hear a loud crash on your roof, and it gets really dark, and you look outside and there's a hot air balloon on your house. That would be terrifying.
Mr. E, didn't what in the school year, like when I was in kindergarten or first grade, you did this with our class, like a different Rene Magritte painting, and you talked about how the hot air balloon fell on his house?
Thank you. Thank you so much for remembering. That makes me so happy when you guys remember stuff. Because most of the time, I don't think anybody ever listens to me. All right, over here. Do you guys remember this circle? I'm going to draw the exact same circle that's not the exact same circle, but I'm going to try my hardest.
Mr. E, drink coffee.
Yes, indeed. Get my coffee on. All right. And get ready because the love story is coming up pretty soon. So Rene Magritte and his wife, Georgia, fell in love. She used to be one of his models for his artwork. So he would do self-portraits and then he would draw paintings of his wife. And they fell in love, and it was during World War II, and they had to move around a lot because there was a terrible war. Okay, look at that circle. And then I'm going to draw another circle right here. Inside of it, do not color that circle black. Don't do it. Now we used our marker over here. We've got to change it around a little bit here. We're going to use our Sharpie. So trace this. And trace the outside. Don't color anything yet. Here's where I get really confused because I've got to do things in the opposite way. And it always freaks me out. So I got to slow down a little bit. So Rene and Georgia Magritte had a dog and they had to move around a lot during the war. And they were married a really long time and they were really in love. And at their new house, now I'm going to color this in with my Sharpie. At their new house, he had his own studio. And he would go in there and paint and they would talk and they would have tea or whatever.
Like you have your own studio in your own house.
Oh, honey, if you were over here, you'd be like, oh, Mystery, that's the worst studio ever. But thank you very much. And so one day, Rene Magritte was not feeling well and he was in the middle of an artwork and he died. That's sad. I'm sorry I had to break it to you that quickly. I should have given you guys a little chance to sit down or something. But he had one work of art that was unfinished. And so what happened was his wife lived another 20 years before she died, and she kept his unfinished work of art in his studio and didn't touch it. And it reminded her of him every time she would walk by. That is a wonderful love story. All right. So now we have all this surrealism going on, but now we got to take it to the next level. So the first thing,
I got a question.
what's up?
How did he die?
I don't know. Maybe he had a heart attack or something. I don't know for sure. I should probably find that out because the one question you guys always want to know is how somebody died. So I probably should figure that out. Maybe a hot air balloon fell on him. That's the only thing I can think of right now. Okay, watch. We're going back with our light blue. Watch what I do here. I'm holding it this way, and I am just scribbling it up. Okay, got the top done. I'm going to come to the next side. Try not to go over the images, but if you do, you do, so what? That's why we colored them in first, no big deal. And when you scribble, sometimes you can't really control what you're doing. So, you know, just go for it. And I'm going to give you guys a little time to do this. I go really well because I'm great at scribbling. Sometimes at work, when I have to turn in some papers, my handwriting will be so bad because I just make up letters. And that way nobody ever asks me to do it again. All right, so I've got my light blue. Now I'm going to get my dark blue and I'm just going to touch it up. Now I know I'm going fast, but I'm going to give you guys time. I just want you to see what's going on. And look, I'm not putting nearly as much dark blue as I am light blue. And I think this is purple. I think Miss Schoeneman gave me a purple. I think she tried to play a trick on me. But I don't mind because it looks good.
Technically, I gave it to your mom, but.
Well, I wanted some treats this time. All right, we're not done. We got a couple more things we're going to do. Yes, I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to find this. I am going to look for my favorite part about Rene Magritte's artwork. And hopefully someone speaks French, but if not, I'll teach you guys. I'm going to teach you guys French here in a second.
I do not.
Well, I don't either. I tend to make stuff up. You guys know that about me. So I pretend like I speak French, but I don't actually. All right, so while you guys are finishing your sky, I am going to share my screen again. And I'm going to show you a picture of a pipe. Now, here's the secret to speaking French. It's actually the easiest language you'll ever learn. You got to start like this. If you start in your throat, that's how you speak French. And then you can say anything. You are very beautiful. That's speaking French. Now this down here, if you look at it, I'm going to translate it. Listen real quick. It says, ceci n'est pas une pipe. And what that means is, this is not a pipe. If you really do speak French and you're listening, you're like, mystery, that was terrible, I know. So what he was doing on this, he did this work of art. It's one of his most famous work of art. But it says, this is not a pipe. Well, obviously, if you look at it, it's a pipe. And so the critics got very mad at him for this. They're like, yes, it is a pipe. And he said, no, it's not a pipe. And they said, yes, it is. Well, what he said, how can it be a pipe? Can you hold it in your hand? They said, no. Can you smoke it? They said, no. He goes, then it's not a pipe. And they said, well, what is it? And he said, it's a painting of a pipe. So that was kind of a fun thing he did there. Now, here's what we're going to do. I want everyone to listen. This is really cool. Here we go. Listen.
Ceci est de l'art. Ceci est de l'art. Ceci est de l'art.
All right. Now, what that is French for this is art. Now, I told you guys, I love, love, love when I can put words in my artwork. So watch what we're going to do. And I'm going to do this in cursive. And I'm going to do it right at the bottom. And I'm going to go like this. Now, you don't have to know cursive. Just pretend like you're creating art. And we're going to connect it. So there's a C, E, C, I. And that is the first part. Ceci.
Ceci est de l'art.
Okay. The next part, we're going to do EST, and I'm going to go like this. And just try your hardest, guys, to copy this. I'm not even sure if people use cursive anymore. But it's fun, and look how pretty it is. And this is, or maybe no, this might be this. I don't know. All right, now we're going to go D, E. Let's hear it again. It's so pretty.
Ceci est de l'art.
All right, L, and I'm going to stop because I got to put a little, what is that called? Thanks a lot for all your help.
Apostrophe? Apostrophe?
Very good. So at the very bottom, I put, at the very bottom, now listen to me say it, you guys. I've been working on my French.
Ceci est de l'art.
That was me saying it. I'll say it one more time.
Ceci est de l'art.
And that stands for this is art.
Oh, that sounds like a girl.
Please don't interrupt. Thank you very much. I'm very busy. All right.
Like a girl.
Now, that is rude. That is my French accent. All right. Now, the last thing we're going to do, and then we're going to let you guys go if you want, or you can do your postcards with me. We're going to add a little pattern in here to make it look a little more Magritte. So I want everyone to write with your light blue pencil, don't write. I want you to make a straight line there, a straight line there. Look where I put them. A straight line over here. Okay, and so what I'm doing right now, guys, is I'm doing patterns, and I'm also doing repetition. And when you do artwork, people love repetition because it makes it easier to look at. And now, Emily, you are not going to like these clouds. I'm doing them a little different. So look, small, big, small, small, small. So look what I do. I do a small bump.
Sometimes you'd rather like that.
You do? Well, that makes me happy. I was very worried that you would be mad when I made clouds like this today, because it's not how we normally do it. Emily taught me how to make some clouds a long time ago. I had to switch it up. And then once I've done this, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to scribble these in. Okay. And then I'm going to teach you guys something really fun with crayons. Hold on a sec. So I'm going to color that one in. Then I'm going to color this one in. And look how fast I'm going. Because when you color in clouds, who even cares? They're always in the sky. And if you go outside a little bit, no one's ever even going to know. So I'm just coloring these guys in super quick. And I got to be honest with you, I like them so much, I got to have one more somewhere and I don't know where to do it. Darn it. That's all right. Once you're done coloring them in, get rid of that and grab your dark blue purple and do one little layer at the bottom on each one. Look how good those look. I'm so excited. And the final thing we're going to do is we're going to get this black crayon and I'm going to do a real thin line right there. And when I'm done doing that, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to rub it in like that. And that gives us a little depth and a little three-dimensional look. And there is our super duper Rene Magritte artwork. And actually, I like this one a lot. And then I'm just going to go over here and color some stuff in. Now, we've got our eraser. And here's what you guys can do if you want to. You can clean up your sky and add just some normal white clouds in here by moving your eraser around.
Mr. E.
Hold on one sec, sweet pea. And this right now, what it's going to do is it's not correcting your artwork, it's creating art. And this is what I love about erasers. Use them to make art, not to fix mistakes. All right. Now here's the deal.